This is your news source evening bulletin for today, Thursday, the 13th day of May in the year 2021. I'm Gordon Mosley. Here's what we're tracking tonight. The Guyana Human Rights Association today issued its strong objection to the International Republican Institute's involvement in reforming the Guyana Elections Commission and playing any role in electoral reform in Guyana. The human rights body said both the timing of the project is wrong and the implementing agency is unacceptable. According to the Human Rights Association, Guyanese have nothing to learn from an institution whose parent body is leading influence in fascism. It questions which Guyanese civic organization is willing to risk its integrity by collaborating with an agency representing such anti-democratic lawlessness. The Human Rights Association said if external electoral assistance is needed in Guyana, CARICOM in general and Jamaica in particular would be the place to start. The association wants the International Republican Institute-led project to be suspended, noting that the fundamental challenge to electoral reform in Guyana is the vulnerability and ease of ethnic manipulation by political parties. It said resolving this deep-seated issue cannot begin with elections. In political terms, the GHRA said the fundamental work for electoral reform consists of building compromise across all sectors. The human rights body also said the IRI connections with the United States Republican Party is also a cause for concern. It said by listing Guyana among countries denouncing the Maduro government, the U.S. destroyed Guyana's delicately crafted and decades-long posture of non-interference in the internal affairs of Venezuela, adding that continued association with Republican politics, even with the Republicanism light in the form of the IRI, is unacceptable. The body said that there needs to first be respect and cooperation on the part of political leaders before moving ahead with any such reforms, citing the non-involvement of the opposition on certain state boards. IRI officials in Guyana have been making the rounds, meeting with the government and opposition about the electoral reform process. A meeting with the Elections Commission was recently aborted. More news coming up in a moment.
Guyana, we've been through it all.
But as a people, we have
weathered every storm
And risen to every challenge.
Because it is the people of Guyana
that gives it its strength.
all the people,
Regardless of race,
class, or religion.
We
are one people, one strength.
And now is our time. A time to rise. Together, we rise.
Farfan and Mendez Group of Companies are committed to promoting development through quality service and integrity. We offer our customers genuine products, reliability, and excellence in service. Our corporate head office at Providence affords you the added convenience of a spacious showroom with secured parking. At Farfan and Mendez, we continue to offer our customers a wide range of genuine and affordable German-engineered equipment. We also offer clean, green alternative energy solutions with our industry-leading brands of solar equipment. So, visit our new showroom at Providence and enjoy the service of our efficient and courteous staff. Farfan and Mendez, offering you solutions you can depend on.
My name is Barton Scotland, former Speaker of the National Assembly. I have taken my vaccine and I'm encouraging everyone 60 years and over to do the same.
Mobil 1 is more than oil. It's many oils. It transforms at the molecular level. When cold, it's thicker than honey. When hot, it's thinner than water. Mobil 1 adapts and readapts to last longer. 16,000 kilometers between oil changes. That's your engine evolved.
Sol Guyana is the authorized distributor of Mobil lubricants.
At Sosh Financial, we create strategies for strengthening business and personal finances while helping our clients to build sustainable wealth. Our financial and business consultancy services are uniquely tailored to ensure every client receives quality packages and optimal results. Our financial services include financial reporting and analysis, financial status assessment, internal audits, bookkeeping and records management, financial planning advice, tax returns. Our business advisory services are related to business plans, business startups, operational improvement, business management, document preparation, procedures development, efficient marketing, Call or WhatsApp us today for your free consultation on telephone number 592-665-6045. Sash Financial, strengthening businesses, building wealth.
We are legions of men standing strong, but never too proud to stoop and help someone. We must send a clear signal to all. Do right, walk in upright ways, knowing that's what being a man is all about. And ever aware that things will only get worse when good men do nothing. Stand strong, be the one to live right.
Mom, what are you doing with GPL on your list?
Child, you forgot I have to pay GPL?
You got time with GPL?
I have to keep these lights on. The customers who think in that manner and refuse to honor their obligation to GPL are obviously not playing their part in ensuring quality service delivery. So, I will continue to pay my GPL bill on time, every time.
I recognize the value of your point, Mom. You were right.
Welcome back. Well, the Ministry of Public Works has issued a cease and desist order to the BK Construction Company over the removal of sand from an area close to the number 63 beach in the Quarantine area. But the BK Company is objecting, saying that the sand was not removed from any government property. The ministry intends to investigate the circumstances surrounding the company's move to remove the sand from the area for a construction project in the St. Berbice area. Minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Deodat Indar, visited the area yesterday and voiced his concern over the removal of sand from the area he described as a reef leading to the beachfront.
This is a reef. It's not privately owned. It's Sea Defense Reserve, protected by law. And they were digging it out, as you can see a whole pond here of it. They dug it out and they took these large trucks and they used the front close to the sea defense there, and they destroyed that piece too by the heavy trucks moving through the Orton Dam there that was made by a previous contractor, a different contractor who built that sea defense there and destroyed the dam.
The minister said the company needs to refill the area and desist from moving the sand. He also said the NDC in the area has no power to allow the removal of sand from that area.
Well, the NDC, from what the chairman has said to me, and you can interview him yourself, is that what was requested of the NDC is to use an access road, nothing to do with removal of material. Now, the NDC does not have the power to grant the removal of material from a reef. It is the Sea Defense Board. So an application would have to be made to the Sea Defense Board, and none was not made.
An engineering team from the Works Ministry is now set to investigate the matter. In response to the minister's statement, the BK International Company today said there was no illegal action by the company. According to the BK International Company, the sand was removed from a private property through a purchasing agreement with the property owner. The company said the area where the sand was removed is more than 4 miles from number 63 beach. It also added that the area forms no part of the coastal defense or breach structure. The company said it has irrefutable facts that everything was done legally and within the law. The spread of coronavirus across the country remains on the increase, with another 186 new cases recorded in the past 24 hours, along with 2 more deaths. There are now more than 1,800 active cases in the country, with 111 persons hospitalized with the virus. The Health Minister, Dr. Frank Anthony, today revealed that while in the early days of the pandemic, its fatal impact was mostly felt by the elderly, that has since changed, and more younger people are turning up at the hospitals in serious and sometimes critical conditions.
What we have noticed over the last couple of weeks is that we have seen a change in the mortality patterns, because we're seeing persons who are between 50 and 40. We've seen quite a few cases in that age category. We have had a few cases in the 40 to 30 age category, and we have had about 3 cases in the 30 to 20 age category.
The minister said the vaccination of the elderly population might have resulted in fewer deaths for the older group. He said younger people need to take more responsibility for their actions and get vaccinated, since it appears that they are not being spared from becoming critically ill.
So we have to be mindful that this is no longer a situation where it's just older people. We're seeing different ages, and this is a trend that has also been observed globally. So it's something that we have to be mindful of, and if younger people or more active persons thought that they would only get the milder form of the disease, well, now, I mean, the new information that we are getting should tell people to be more cautious, and hopefully we can avoid the hospitalization.
And Minister Anthony continues to insist that more persons get vaccinated.
The other way to avoid hospitalization is to ensure that people come out, get their vaccines, get both doses of their vaccines, so that they can be fully immunized and protected.
The new cases of coronavirus have been popping up in every region across the country, with Region 4 remaining as the hot spot in Guyana. Well, the Panamanian registered fuel tanker, which brought in over 1 million gallons of heavy fuel in a controversial arrangement between an importer and some officials of the state-owned Guyana, remains in the custody of the Guyana Revenue Authority. The tanker was detained by the Revenue Collection Agency weeks ago after it arrived in Guyana's waters and was not presented to the Customs Department. Efforts by its owners in Panama to get the vessel released have so far been unsuccessful. The Guyana Revenue Authority is one of a number of government agencies that's probing the fuel procurement scandal. Late last month, a Guyana board director and the financial manager for the company were both sacked over the shady fuel import arrangement. The importer, Aaron's Realty, maintains that it was given the go-ahead to import the fuel for Guyana after its officials met with a number of Guyana officials to clinch the deal. When the deal started to fall through, the ship was already on its way to Guyana, and it was then that the importer revealed that some officials at the oil company wanted a financial kickback for landing him the deal. Those accusations are also on the probe, and the CEO of the company, Aaron's Realty, has provided statements to the Energy Agency, the Revenue Authority, and the Auditor General's Office. The Environmental Protection Agency has modified the environmental permit issued to ExxonMobil for the Liza 1 development project in wake of the ongoing flaring issues. The modified permit will now include specific regulatory requirements for flaring of associated gas offshore Guyana, in accordance with the EPA's legislation. This comes as the company resumes flaring offshore Guyana. In a statement, the EPA revealed that flaring has restarted offshore because of a technical issue with the oil production vessel. The EPA said the company was projected to exceed the 14 billion standard cubic feet of gas estimated to be flared by the Environmental Impact Assessment for the project on May 13. Flaring concerns were raised recently when the company increased the flaring of natural gas after the flash gas compressor aboard the Liza Destiny vessel encountered several issues. The EPA said a modified environmental permit includes revised terms and conditions relating to emissions reporting requirements, technical considerations for flaring, timeline for flaring events, and an obligation on the company to pay for the emission of carbon dioxide equivalent as a result of flaring in excess of these timelines. The company has agreed to pay the EPA $30 per ton of emission of carbon dioxide equivalent. The EPA also said it has been engaging the ExxonMobil company regarding the technical and legal issues of the modified permit. Longtime protocol advisor to the president, Vicprasad, passed away after a period of illness. Prasad served every executive president of Guyana dating back to the late President Forbes Burnham, and up to recently he served President Irfan Ali. In a statement, President Ali remembered Prasad as an institution within Guyana's public service. The president said Mr. Prasad provided more than 60 unbroken years of exemplary public service as an accountant, foreign service officer, and as a chief of protocol and advisor on protocol affairs. President Ali described the late protocol chief as a model public servant, embodying the finest attributes of professional public service. He said Guyana has lost an outstanding public servant, and the office of the president has lost one of its most beloved and respected stalwarts. In a statement, the opposition APNU-AFC also remembered Prasad as an exceptional public servant who served his country for over half a century. The APNU-AFC said he was not only a colleague but a friend and mentor to many, and he possessed unmatched wealth of knowledge, and his passing will leave an immense void in the area of protocol affairs. The opposition leader said Vicprasad possessed the highest integrity and an unflinching attention to detail. Vicprasad has left to mourn his wife and children. The taxi driver who was accused of murdering a young father over a $700 debt was this morning committed to stand trial at the High Court for the capital offense of murder. 28-year-old Kester Lewis was initially charged last December for manslaughter related to the death of 29-year-old David Barclay. However, the Director of Public Prosecutions later advised that the charge be changed to murder. In court today, the Chief Magistrate ruled that a strong enough case was made out against Lewis for him to stand trial in the High Court before a judge and jury. It was on the 27th of December last year on Durban Street that the accused and the victim got into a confrontation over $700. Barclay had solicited the services of Lewis to repair a tire on his car. After the tire was repaired, it was reported that Barclay was short $700 for the job. The angry taxi driver reportedly armed himself with a knife and slashed the tires of the man's car. A confrontation between the two started, and while Barclay was holding on to the door of the taxi driver's car, the driver sped off, slamming the young man into a number of parked cars. Barclay was rushed to the hospital where doctors pronounced him dead. The taxi driver was later arrested and charged. He will continue to remain behind bars until his High Court trial.
My name is Nigel Dharamlal. I'm the Minister of Local Government and Regional Development. Today I had the opportunity of getting vaccinated. I took the first dose of AstraZeneca. The process has been very seamless. As a matter of fact, I think that I was concerned first about the needle getting into me, and then I realized a mosquito bite is actually more difficult to endure than the prick of the needle. So I'd like to encourage all and sundry all across Guyana to get vaccinated. We have teams across our country. Please go out and get vaccinated. It is part of our commitment to you to ensure that your life is prolonged. COVID is serious and malicious disease, and you have to join us in this fight to eradicate COVID.
Across the region tonight, marriages of convenience are on the radar of the Department of Immigration in St. Kitts and Nevis. According to the St. Kitts and Nevis Information Service, the Chief Immigration Officer, Mercedes Hughes, noted that the practice is one of the areas that will be addressed through legislation. The Chief Immigration Officer said that members in the enforcement unit are conducting regular checks to manage a large number of persons who overstay their time in the country or who are working without the relevant approvals. Members of the public are encouraged to share information with the department on suspicious activities, particularly illegal entry into the country. It is suspected that many of the persons, after overstaying their time, would pay someone to get married to them. Cuba has started a mass vaccination campaign against COVID-19 using one of its 5 homegrown vaccine candidates, which, if proven effective, could improve access to vaccines across Latin America, one of the regions hardest hit by the pandemic. Cuba's state-run biopharma sector, which has a long history of developing, producing and exporting vaccines, has concluded late-phase trials at home for the vaccine in more than 48,000 volunteers, but it has not yet published the results. Still, it says the advantages of starting mass vaccination outweigh the risk, given the shot has proven safe and effective in generating antibodies, and Cuba is facing its worst COVID-19 outbreak since the start of the pandemic. Several nations have rushed to deploy COVID vaccines before all results were through. In the US and Europe, vaccines were approved for emergency use based on small samples of early data from phase 3 trials, while in Russia and China, vaccines were deployed before the publication of results from phase 2. If Cuba's homegrown vaccines prove successful, it will mark a major achievement for the small communist-run country and a ray of hope for its allies and developing countries struggling with inequitable global vaccine access. And finally tonight, international news. In a major step toward returning to pre-pandemic life, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention in the U.S. eased indoor mask wearing guidance for persons fully vaccinated, allowing them to stop wearing masks outdoors in crowds and inside in most situations. The new guidance still calls for wearing masks in crowded indoor settings like buses, planes, hospitals, prisons, and homeless shelters, but will help clear the way for reopening workplaces, schools, and other venues, even removing the need for masks or social distancing for those who are fully vaccinated. The announcement comes as the CDC and the Biden administration have faced pressure to ease restrictions on fully vaccinated people who are 2 weeks past their last required COVID-19 vaccine dose. And that's your News Source Evening Bulletin for tonight. I'm Gordon Mosley, reporting and encouraging you to stay safe.